Welcome to the August 2017 Patreon meeting. I want to thank everybody for being here. We're starting a half hour late because I was super busy trying to fix up a house, and that's going to be an ongoing project. But let's talk about the stream instead. Viewership has been steadily increasing all month. Twitch followers are up about 300, which is about 30% of my followership. I attribute that entirely to the rise in Sid Alpha's popularity. Viewership's up about 10% on YouTube as well, both in terms of viewed and times watched. Ad revenue's down, but that's just because the ads are paying out less on YouTube. But don't worry, it was never much to begin with. Honestly, for YouTube, I'm lucky if I get paid $10 a month on the ad revenue. And it's taking a nosedive as more and more people pull out of YouTube. That's its own discussion about how terrible it is. First off, this is the first month ever where Mistborn RPG Episode 1 has been not number 1. So far in August, the Game of Thrones House Prep has managed to pass it by about 25%.
Number one in...
Number 1 ever. Viewership, views, everything. The Game of Thrones House Prep has managed to completely shatter Mistborn, finally, after like a year and a half of being the number 1 episode of anything ever, every single month on my channel. So, let's break down what's happened since last month. I've got a nice list here, because I found out people thought maybe I was being a little unprofessional. I put something together. Winter's Edge has once again started to meet regularly since the last meeting. Its reception's been rather positive, and there's been an upswing in viewership, constantly in the upper 30s on average, despite all of the Discord problems and losing viewers from that. Okeanos has only met once since the last time, but the crew has constantly been a source of one-shots. Despite my normal rule of canceling a show if it only meets once a month, I'll be letting this one ride because Okeanos only has about 2 to 3 episodes left. There were 2 episodes of Sparks of Light, which had a pretty good response despite a huge war on Twitter with a bunch of pieces of garbage over it. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, just go and check Twitter and find the incredibly long thread I had where I was repeatedly attacked for running this game. A game about little girls that transform into magical soldiers. I don't know why you'd be
It's Sailor Moon, the role-playing game, basically.
Yeah, basically. Right? It had a pretty good response. There were 100 views on the first episode. We got the second episode out just this Tuesday. It's been pretty good. We had an Age of Rebellion one-shot. That had about 100 views on the front end. And 3 Stars Without Numbers one-shots. The Mercenary Legion, it improved every time I ran it in both viewership and in feedback as more visual content was added in order to show who had what forces, where the forces were located with, who was doing what fighting. However, the Mercenary Legion doesn't look like it's going to meet my standards of popularity with the viewers, and will probably be cut in favor of running the Stars Without Numbers Sons of Gold merchant trading one, which is way more popular by a huge degree. Game of Thrones House War, as mentioned, the prep episode is 5 times more popular than the one-shot that was run. But the actual show was still watched quite a bit. I thought it went rather well. People enjoyed it. And it also ties into the next thing I'm about to talk about, is that the Battletech one-shot greatly exceeded expectations on viewership. In 24 hours, it had almost 200 views and is already working on 300 after 36 hours. I'm working on improving the display and accuracy of display for the viewers. What I mean to say is, when a weapon is fired at a mech, we've found a number of people who are willing to help out. One is called the Battletech Digital Record Sheets, which creates a wireframe of the mech which will be throwing up, and you can say this mech has 18 armor, and now it's 16 of 18, now it's 2 of 18, now it's 0, and the limb's blown off. And so that way, when we say, oh, you get hit in your left arm for 5, we won't look at a note card. We'll actually look at the display of that particular mech and say, look, you can see when he takes 5, he's going to lose the arm. To add in more visual stuff and make it more streamlined for viewers. The other part that excites me and what ties to Game of Thrones is that BattleTech has 40 years of lore behind it, and Game of Thrones before Game of Thrones was the thing. Nobles constantly overthrowing each other, smuggling, piracy, mercenaries, invading warriors from beyond the edge of space, dragons. It has it all. Although in this case, the dragons are a battle mech and not actual dragons. But all right, no laughs. That's okay. Game of Thrones is in a couple hours. You'll just go watch the dragons do their dragon thing. And I just got a message right before the meeting started about someone who wanted to... So I'd mentioned this on the stream. If there was a way that when we rolled attack dice, that it would automatically roll all the other dice we need. Like hit location, if it's a missile hit, how many of the missile cluster. So like when you fire 20 missiles, there's a chance that only 3, 6, 9, 12, or 15 of them will hit. All of those extra things, when we roll one set of dice, all of the other dice would roll. I don't know how to do that. Nobody that I know knows how to do that. But this person, I think, offered to help me with that. I only got to read one sentence of the message before the meeting started. But they seem pretty excited to get that underway. Over the next month, there will be more one-shots coming up. And more Overwatch. Fortnite is out. Fortnite sucks. No one plays Fortnite anymore. Overwatch and Summer Games is back in, and that's going to be the big new stream for a while. On... What's the month after August? My
September.
gosh. How do I always...
September.
Man, these months keep tripping me up every time I do this. And I had to start all the way from January, too. I'm like January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August. September 5th. We're working on getting Drummer Boy, who's done a lot of the music for the stream, on the tabletop with Arasido, doing Pendragon. We'll do a one-shot of Pendragon, so it'll be King Arthur, knights, rolling around with swords, solving problems, hunting magical beasts. We'll do some, like, Harry Potter shit. Yeah, I'm going to talk to Arasido about making it like a multi-person episode and seeing if we can get a couple people on and having a really cool night thing going down.
Drummer Boy would be the player then, and Arasido
Drummer
would
Boy's
be
the
the
player.
artist?
Yep.
Okay.
On the 12th...
Live audio.
Do what?
He's going to do live audio on table.
No. He did
Just
say...
imagine.
He did say he was working on doing a show like that, and I said I was interested in producing it for him, but I think
cool.
he's going to work with Mark Wesker, who did a lot of the fan art for Swan Song.
Yeah, what Swan Song with Marches and Owen.
On
Amazing art.
September 12th, Sparks of Light will be having a third episode with Lexi Cotton and TL. We'll also be doing a giveaway during that. TL has an unknown but more than one piece of merchandise from her work, which is Geek and Sundry, Legendary Digital, Alpha, all of that.
She doesn't work with Loot Crate anymore?
No, she stopped working with Loot Crate about a year and a half ago.
Oh.
She does the production for Critical Role and Will Wheaton's Tabletop and Sagas of Sundry. So she's got like DVDs of the first season of Tabletop and some Critical Role merch that we'll be giving away during that show. So that's going to be my first giveaway. Next month, at some point, I'm going to it's going to be either next month or the month after that, arrange for another charity stream, and this one will be for Ratasaurus. We're going to try to get him a better PC. He currently uses his Microsoft Surface. It makes it hard for him to do streaming and drawing at the same time. And by hard, I mean impossible. And it also keeps him from playing Overwatch, but that's just a me thing and not a promote the artist thing. So, we're gonna work on getting him up and functional, just like we did for Virgil. So keep an eye out for that. I'll be joining another stream shortly on the 25th, and for the next 4 Fridays, I will be on Kels's channel for a Burning Wheel game called Harvest Valley. It's based off of Stardew Valley. Everyone's going to be playing fishermen and townsfolk. We're basically all going to be NPCs in a Harvest Moon, Stardew Valley type scenario. I'll be playing Ishmael, who's a bitter old foreigner who was captured in a war and was brought here, and then the person he was protecting died, and he was given release from his slavery for trying to, do the bodyguard thing as she went down. And so he lives at the edge of the town and is desperately seeking a map home and is constantly looking for an adventurer to solve all the problems in the town. He seems to be the only one who notices that, like, there's a giant key at the mines that you could like a lock you can put a key in, but no one's found the key, but no one seems to care about it. Like, he keeps bringing it up and everyone's like, it's been like that since I was born.
That actually sounds like a really fun concept for a game.
I like swords.
Yeah, I like swords. Yeah, welcome to Corneria. I like swords. Welcome to Corneria. Man, I'm so glad someone gets that. God, that comic was amazing. So long.
For fishing, you did.
Oh, yeah, PC, man. Wow, it's really nice having a community that gets all of the in-jokes that I'm also in on. Yeah. Oh, man. Epic NPC Man's really good.
Your destiny is so warm.
It's lukewarm. I can feel it. Have you... Okay, so for those who are watching this and don't know what we're talking about, there's a webcomic called 8-Bit Theater, which is the events of Final Fantasy, the first game, I think, Final Fantasy 1 Mystic Quest, done in webcomic form, except all of the heroes are assholes. And it's like 1,000-something comics long and ends with this gigantic, epic, really good panel. It's very good. It's totally worth reading. It involves a half-elven ranger who is both multi-classed ranger, and half-elf. Also, other half, also elf. So he gets the elven racial bonuses twice. And he gets the ranger bonuses twice.
Yeah. Maybe he can dual wield 16 bows at one point.
Yeah, no, he does 4 bows.
Oh my god. I have to go read this webcomic now.
It's really good. It's really good.
I've just found and bookmarked it.
It's worth the read. That it was a classic.
Oh boy. So, other than that, any questions?
How's the aftermath of some of the playtests this month feeling for you?
I mean, we did a playtest every day this week except for today. And we did Made RPG character making today, so it's basically like playtesting.
Yeah.
It's exhausting. It's like playing System Relay. Every day I have to prep a new system and a new rule set, and then get it all out with new overlays, and then wrap it all up. It's rewarding, though. It's interesting, because it's been a while. I've been promising it, and I haven't been delivering it. Like, 3 months ago, I said we're going to start doing more one-shots, and there was like 1 or 2 one-shots, but I feel like this month I absolutely delivered with, 6 new systems on one-shots.
They've been all fun to watch too, because they're all different. They're different enough to where they stand out compared to, like, I did a spin-off of D&D.
Exactly.
I did another what's it called again? Post of the Cup. I always forget the name.
Powered by the Apocalypse.
Yes, powered, like, it's different systems, not just 6 different Apocalypse systems.
So Eric Vulgaris and I have been doing this for a while, where we both do the same thing for a super long amount of time. Zonalar called it the Eric thing, but I want to remind everybody that I did it first, so fuck you, Zonalar.
What did Eric steal? So
Eric didn't. No,
What
don't.
did Eric steal
Eric
from
didn't
you?
steal it. All right. there is one thing Eric has stolen from me, and that's ViewStream, and it made me so upset. I was screaming in rage when it happened. And for those that don't know, ViewScream is a game where 4 people play. They're not allowed to talk to each other. The main, like, whoever's the bridge officer connects all of the calls and then chooses whether or not to listen in. And they can only talk to whoever the bridge officer connects them to. They have to solve problems. Everyone has a limited number of yes or no solutions they can give. And you need a certain amount of yes solutions in order for your character to live. And so you have to convince people to trust you to give them their yeses so that you can live.
So it's diplomacy is what you're
Yeah,
telling me.
it's basically like diplomacy. You play with 4 people and an extremely limited form of communication. You play on like a dying starship, or on a space station or something like that. I mentioned to Eric that I was going to do it in like 2 weeks, and he was like, "Why not do it tonight?" And I was like, "Fireball rage coming out of my mouth," because he sniped it from me first. That was maddening. No, Eric and I both recognize that the 5-episode format, I mean, I've been doing that for forever, but they produce one good arc. It's more than a one-shot, but less than a campaign.
Yeah.
And it makes it really, I mean, except for Mouse Guard, when I ran The Guard Prevails, there was just a really bad problem of not being able to meet. In general, it's a lot easier to get people to agree to meet for exactly 1 month than it is to get them to commit to 1 year.
Yeah.
So I'm probably not going to be doing any 5-week games in the future, but I am going to be, at Zahn's advice, attempting to align a future campaign, and that campaign is BattleTech. Like, with the huge response BattleTech's getting, I'm pushing it ahead of everything else and just being like, get the fuck out of the way! When Okeanos ends, BattleTech will almost certainly take its place, which means I need to start looking for a cast right now. Sid Alpha already has the priority spot. He's my quarterback. I put him in everything. He's got massive viewership, and we work pretty well together, except when he calls people cucks live, and then I get pretty upset and have to talk to him about it later.
Oh dear.
Yeah, that was.
I missed that. I'm glad.
It happened on Okeanos one night during the intro. I think he said it accidentally because he didn't realize he'd said it, and I was like, "Hey, man, we actually can't use that language because of Twitch terms of service." It's real bad. It's real bad. I'm working at trying to bring 1 or 2 more new people to the stream, but as most of my efforts in this matter, it's pretty much bound to fail. Not that I'm not being positive, but seriously, I have a 1 in 30 record, more like 1 in 32 now, of number of people I invite versus number of streamers who actually get on the show. My comrade streamer, Lexi Tales, aka Lexi, is moving. I think she's going to be more available for streaming. I think she's moving into full-time, and she mentioned that she's really been enjoying doing RPG streams. So it's my hope that I'll be able to get her locked in for a campaign of something. And she's more of like the butt-touching anime-feely stuff, so probably not BattleTech. But, I mean, we have Made RPG coming up, so that's right up her alley.
Oh,
You- Something to say, have you?
No.
Are you sure? Because, I mean, you're making noises.
I'm gonna mute myself.
Alright. Okay. That's what we got. Any other one-shots? I think I actually covered everything, and I'm not going to come by later and be like, by the way, I forgot this thing. Yeah, so any questions, any concerns, or things like that?
yes, I do have a thing.
Yes.
Well,
Okay.
I've been asking around just to make sure, do people actually want this or not? So I want to put forward, and I mentioned it before, I would like to have the Star Wars RP readable for everyone and only writable for Patreon and Twitch subscribers.
Interesting.
It is a cornerstone of your channel and your brand. And people that watch your show, it is like a big selling point.
I guess. I mean, for me, I've always, anytime I've been asked, I always maintain I'm a Twitch streamer first and a Discord manager second. and
Yes,
far
but
second at that.
it is unique. Like the only other
Okay.
guys that do it like almost well is ERP, and now if you like, I know that Pitbull and Cotton have their own servers, but it's not the same. How do I say this? Like you are the most experienced. I just think you do it best. And I want to be able to, if new viewers come in into your channel and they check out your Discord, that they can see what is happening in the Star Wars and are not left out of inside jokes that they don't get because they cannot read it.
Does
Also,
anyone?
I want my girlfriends to be able to read it too.
Ah, there we go. Does anyone
That's
else have any thoughts on this matter?
So Zahn asked me about this in a survey, and
Secret surveys behind my back.
no,
All
it was
right.
just he just
That was
messaged
fun.
me. He
Oh.
just messaged me and asked me what I thought about this idea. And I said to Zahn, and I'll tell you what I told Zahn.
Mhm,
It's
mhm.
I don't have super strong feelings either way, but I don't know how it if it's about just being able to read it. I don't know how it hurts you to do that. I don't know how much helps you either, but I don't know if it hurts you in any way.
Okay.
So
I can
ultimately,
accept that.
kind of do with it what you will.
Anyone
want
else?
this.
All right. Well,
It's about the same with me. I mean, I don't really either way because I don't have time to participate that much, so I'm not really as invested because I just don't have the time. But I do enjoy your take on that world nonetheless, and I do find it amusing when I point other people towards it, like in the past where I sent them to your videos, and it's like, look how different he takes it. Even though he's still trying to be serious, he's allowing silliness to exist in the same world without having toss in the ring like some of my former DMs would do. So it's a little like, yeah, like Jim said, little A and B.
all right. Well, I think I just finished opening all the rooms up. People should be able to publicly view it, but not send messages. I think,
Oh, sweet.
which means we're gonna have to get EQ to stop sending at everyone's. Because now open to literally everyone. Okay. Next Winner's Edge. I think I didn't mention this, but next Winner's Edge is, and here I thought I had a perfect professional presentation, but I didn't. Is going to be replaced by a one-shot of Star Wars Force and Destiny. It'll be Sid, EQ, Sawfang, and Ratasaurus. And they'll be playing Jedi of some kind. Or maybe Sith, I don't know, we'll see.
Ooh.
I don't know. We gotta talk. We literally only came up with it last night, so we haven't had a chance to sit down and speak on the matter.
Speaking of that, in ensuing weeks, is Winter's Edge going to? I mean, obviously, with the caveat, things will happen. Coming back on a more consistent basis.
Yeah, I mean, I think Winter's Edge has been back on a more consistent basis. Next week is a con for Kelsa, and it's the beginning of the work week for Rachel. So they both want to, take the night off to do their own thing. And after that, we should be back to meeting regularly. And, of course, the big arc right now is take back the town since Praetorium has fallen to invasion.
Mm-hmm.
I'm hoping to bookend any outlaying Discord tavern player storylines by having as many people as I can remember show up in the taking back of the town, and then we'll never hear from them again. Kind of deal. This is my goodbye to Discord arc. Alright. What's next? Hit me with your next question, thought. I know one thing I'm still debating on, because I don't know how much people believe in it, but there's been a lot of talk of getting the Star Wars Discord having like a once a month or twice a month show of it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm still not very convinced that that's a good idea. In fact,
I mean,
I'm
yeah,
willing to hear arguments for it, but it's a ton of work. Organizing it for Winner's Edge was often a huge pain. Groups would like the problem is too many people wanted to be in it, right? Like there was
Oh, yeah.
too many people and not enough slots, and the competition for it got pretty fierce, and some feelings were hurt.
Over what? Sorry, I
Uh,
just got an
people
email.
The
getting
Winner's Edge
slots,
Patreon
of
games.
course,
Whether
Yeah.
people could get on screen or not to play
Ah.
their characters. There were too many people and not enough spots. And I guess the final note is that the diplomacy game is going well. I guess everything just updated and all of my moves worked out perfectly. Brilliant. So super
Yeah.
smart.
Yeah, I still have no idea what's going on.
I mean, we're pretty sure that you're Russia, Tice, but see. We'll see at the end when everyone's crushed. That game's getting very complex. I don't want to say too much. Wow, holy shit! What? Germany is attacking France! Whoa! Holy shit!
Looks
Arthur,
like they
your
got-
reaction is stunning.
I didn't see that coming, man. I was like, I know everything that's happening everywhere. Everyone is telling me all of the information I need. My plans are proceeding perfectly. And then I opened up the map and I was like, why is that unit on fire? Why is there yellow in the blue zone? Germany first strike, oh no.
It would seem England supported Germany in that move, no less.
Let me pull up the order status. It does seem that way.
I'm just looking at the picture. Isn't a green line a support?
Yeah, you have to pull up the order history.
I mean, on the image, when you the visual, the picture with all the orders on it. Black lines are moves, green lines are support, and
Yeah,
red
I
are
mean-
failures.
I'm looking at the regular map here, and I don't see any of that. But when you pull up the order history,
Yeah, I'm looking at the order history.
yes, yeah,
Where's
you can
that
see
at?
it. Order history is
there it is.
in the upper right-hand corner. You go to order history, and then
Click on.
I mean, don't worry, Lucas. I'm nearly 100% certain that you're Germany. So I'm pretty sure it was you that launched that sneaky first strike against France and totally crushed the shit out of them.
I advise you to not
I can neither confirm nor deny that, Arthur.
I'm pretty sure the French player right now is freaking out.
You might say that, yes.
I mean, Paris is exposed. If France okay, it's just too complicated to break it down. But France has a limited number of moves possible here, and if England really is working with Germany, they're basically screwed.
France is
Yeah.
screwed.
And also, I also noticed the whole islands up top for England attacking.
Yeah, I don't know what's going up in the north. It seems like there's some sort of what happened with. All right, we're way aside. I'm gonna have to break this down and look at what happened with Sweden and Denmark, and Russia moved out of Moscow for some reason. Like, this is insane. Why would you ever leave Moscow? Like, this is a bad move. And I mean, if you're gonna leave Moscow, why didn't you leave Sevastopol to head for Ankara and just snipe the Turkish from behind? Things are devolving.
So I take
Yeah.
it this game is going to be over in a week and a half, probably real time.
I would say a week is reasonable. It might end in an alliance play, or it might end in somebody getting to 18. It looks like Austria or England are pretty solidly. I mean, what can England pick up really fast? Probably Denmark, Sweden, Moscow, Spain, and Portugal. That's what, a 5-point shift that brings them to 12. Yeah, I mean, if neither England nor Austria settles, there's a pretty good chance one of them could reach 18 in a week.
I mean, clearly that'd be Austria. Austria's gobbled up Italy. Anyway, we've totally devolved.
We have any
I mean-
closing questions?
I just want to come back to
Oh,
the
Patreon game, right? You were gonna.
yes.
Yep.
Well, I mean, so the downside is that people's feelings get hurt if they cannot get a spot because there are
Yes.
only 4 spots, but like 10 people that want to join, more or less.
Yeah.
That's not really an issue that you can solve.
I
I
agree. I mean, I feel like it's better to not try to organize these games. They're super stressful, and then the aftermath is pretty stressful. Like,
oh yeah.
they generate a lot of stress, and I don't want to say no one's happy, because obviously the people that are on the show are happy, but more people are unhappy than are happy.
I see.
I need something
Yeah.
else. But by the way, if you did want to play a session with me, did you know the highest level of Patreon donations? I'll run a game for you.
Once a month.
I know. That was the other thing I was thinking about.
When does the game happen anyway?
But if you have, I feel like it is almost necessary to have another barrier of entry if you want to be able to have a spot on a Patreon show, like a $10 mark. Like 25, you can organize your own game and you can invite people with a $10 mark or $5. Because if people are so crazy about it, I don't know. It's just an idea. I'm not even sure if it's a good idea. Thoughts? Anybody?
I just jumped into this conversation, man.
Yeah, it started.
Yeah, I got
Star
nothing
Wars
for you.
Patreon games.
I mean, if there was a Star Wars Patreon game, I'm very on the fence, and the side of the fence I'm leaning on towards is no. Enough that the fence is starting to lean with me.
Yeah, it'll seem a little bit too forced.
Wow,
I guess
get
I
out,
just
get out,
want
get
to
out, get out.
pay more. I really want to fly my starship. Live in space.
Why is it important that you do that?
It's fucking amazing. I love it. That's all I
Okay.
need.
He's enraptured in the moment and living that life.
Yeah.
And finds it that's appealing to him.
I'm just more than happy to help out with playtests and stuff like that as they come up. Just as I mean, I can't guarantee a show, so I wouldn't even be able to do one on my own. So I can just help the shows that I watch happen. It's why I support it.
I would love to
Just
run a
in-
game one time with Arthur as a player. Just to see.
Oh, you know, every
Everything
time
else
I've
I
let someone else run a game on my channel, I've regretted it because I
Not
can't
necessarily on
control
your
everything.
Not necessarily on your channel.
Oh, you want to invite me to your channel to play?
Just
Interesting.
yeah, just
Every
I'd
PM.
like to see how that is. I'm like, I did all this work and Arthur just ruined it all. Cool. That would be great.
You know, everyone I've played with has always said that. Eric just stopped fucking. Eric used to be like, I've got all these plans, I've got circles, I'm taking notes, and I was just so good at being like, oh, I see you've got a lot of plans for this NPC who you've had be a piece of shit to me. Why don't I stab him to death in an alleyway?
That's why.
It's like, you can't do that. He's too good for sorting. And I was like, cool, priest, freeze him in place while I stab him to death.
That's why I do a one shot.
Yeah.
Yep.
We can talk about that for sure. I mean, I'll tell you what we haven't been talking about, Lucas, and that's doing the sign language thing. Although at this point, I feel like you're probably better suited to streaming it on your own channel than mine at this point. You
Yeah,
seem to
it's,
be well on your way towards getting good at that.
It could. You have a lot more audience pool.
No, Sid Alpha has a lot more audience pool.
Well, sure. I don't know.
yeah, look at EQ. EQ's like, yeah, that's true.
Of course, these are all gamer demographics, and this a foreign language is like not games, so it's completely
You know,
different.
People said that, and then Adam Kobold did I'm gonna learn Japanese live on stream and got a shit ton of views, so
I kind of think of like creative streams. Like a lot of people love to watch stuff like that.
yeah,
So.
you're gonna have a different audience, but some of your same audience is gonna stay.
Well, I still want to. I've actually been looking at doing teaching sign classes actually in my city for the deaf and hard of hearing services. So I would like to see what they offer first and how much extra work that is. But I still want to do it. It's still in my mind. I've just been lazy with sign language lately. That's my own fault. I get to teach it, you have to really know it. So that means I really got to brush up on it. Because when you're doing the language, you don't think about it, but once you start to teach it, you're like, oh crap, is that how I do it?
Yeah, I mean, just so you know, that happens with teaching literally anything.
Yeah, as soon as you have to stop and think about it instead of automatically doing it, you're like, huh.
I'm like, all right, so 8x when you take the fucking, dividend or whatever, it just becomes 8. And they're like, how did that happen? Isn't there like an h somewhere in the equation? And I'm like, oh shit, you're right. Yeah, I don't know how to teach that part. I just know that 8x becomes 8, buddy. And I said dividend, but that's not what I meant.
Okay, I don't know what
I'm
math is
so
anymore.
slow today. I literally can't even remember the name of the month after August, and I can't remember the opposite of integrator.
September.
Extrigrator.
That's not what it is at all. Integration, and I think I know this as an engineer and uses shit daily.
Outegration.
No, that's not it either. Just stop, Lucas, please. It's
Derivation?
Derivative, thank you. The
Derivatives and
of-
integrals were the you learned in calculus.
Yes, derivative
where-
of 8x is 8. But, however, the process of getting there isn't as easy as just saying 8x becomes 8. There's like fucking h's involved. Fucking mathematics is incredible.
Engineering for engineering's sake.
Yeah.
I used to work on the opposite side, the guy that was fixing the things engineers built. Now, the whole time I'm reading their manuals going, I could just push the button, right? That's all I got to do. Oh, it fixes it if you push this button and then this one. Why did I go 5 pages for this?
Indeed. As an engineer, that was basically my job. Was interpreted things engineers did so other people could read them in human speak.
Oh
Yeah.
my.
Didn't work out too well for me.
It doesn't work out for anybody. It really doesn't.
It's
you,
very
you
difficult.
You have to be taught it. You have to be
Yes.
taught. I had a 6-month block of my schooling that was dedicated to reading the tech orders for this panel van full of equipment. And at the end, it was literally turn the indicator down, turn it up slowly till you could barely see it. And if you could see all the lines as it moved, it was good. Otherwise, replace a card. That was it. That's all I actually did.
That sounds
Bookshelves.
very familiar to me. Yeah.
Bookshelves full of books to tell me to replace this card.
Wow.
It's like looking at the user manual for a car and you really only need how to turn the fucking lights and the CD player on and like 30 fucking pages.
This is why we used to we used to do schooling for people who have our machines. We come to fucking Switzerland in planes. We teach them.
Okay. Wow, we're so far away from this actual meeting. We gotta wrap up soon. Any questions?
Yeah, I guess I can throw a question at you.
Yep.
Do you have any thoughts or plans or even thought of the idea to do European time zone games?
Nope.
Ever?
I'm currently not working, but I am seeking a new job, and I can absolutely tell you that daytime, unless this became a full-time thing for me, in which case I'd probably be doing 14 streams a week, like a daytime and then an evening one. Until that happens, like, I literally just don't have time during the day.
My body can't handle this.
I'm sorry, Zon.
That's
I understand.
unfortunately what YouTube is for. Eh?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. That
I mean, I wouldn't say unfortunately.
All that stuff looks good, Tice.
Some might say exactly what YouTube is for.
Especially if it's in.
But I'm suspecting Zon would rather watch it live, was why I said unfortunately.
I mean, I'll agree with that. I've never gotten why people like to watch stuff live, which is weird because I am a Twitch streamer. But for me, watching it live and watching it on YouTube hasn't really been a difference.
it's
That's super
completely.
weird.
I rarely interact with other people when I'm watching live because I'm playing Overwatch, and then watching it on another screen.
Yeah.
It's also a different mindset. Like if you're playing your RPG, you really want to be with your players. But if you're doing the collaborative builds, then you would be able to.
Sure.
That's what I noticed with even with Colville. When he does a collaborative builds, his channel goes through the roof for a few days because everybody wants to feel like they're part of something.
I'll agree with that, and that certainly happened with the Game of Thrones house prep, and anytime I did Stars Without Numbers stuff, and probably why Stars Without Numbers is so.
I've built
fucking
my own
popular.
Game of Thrones house while you guys were doing it, just
Yeah.
to be a part of the stuff, and I
So
had a
did
lot of
Tice.
fun doing it.
Yeah. That one shot took a very different turn than how I thought it was going to be, but I think it displayed the width of the system well.
Are
I
you
mean, they
saying
did
Game
basically
of-
betray a bunch of people and stab them to death, which in the Game of Thrones universe is okay as long as you get away with it. The problem is if someone calls you on your bullshit.
Did they get away with it?
The one shot ended before it was clear. I mean, they took one of the enemy leaders captive and were essentially winning the war. And as long as no third parties came along, P.S. a third party probably would come along at some point. They would have gotten away with it too. Those meddling kids.
Isn't those meddling third parties?
The meddling king and all of his knights.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking Joffrey.
And their dog too.
Speaking of meddling,
Yeah, Tice.
have you thought of running a one shot of those meddling kids?
No.
Raggy?
I'm also
Oh,
not
yeah.
gonna run a one shot of Starship Troopers. I'm sorry, Tice.
Ooh.
It's not gonna happen.
What about Call of Cthulhu?
I'm
Don't you
on the
have-
fence. I've been trying to run Silent Legions for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, or maybe call it Call of Cthulhu.
No, get out.
Get out.
What about
Correct.
Monster Auge?
Horror games are very hard to run online. People really need to buy into it, and more importantly, they need to act their part. Like, horror games are entirely 100% about emotion. If
I
you,
feel
like me, are in a dark, scary hallway and, there's like a weird light at the end, like, I'm just walking toward, in real life, I'm literally like, this isn't scary to me at all. I'm going through haunted cornfields and people are like spraying whatever blood substitute they have everywhere, and I'm like, this isn't scary at all. If I did that on a stream, I'd just be so fucking boring. You know, when I'm like, the hallway's dark, there's only a single light illuminating the shadows. You can hear the creak of it swinging back and forth, but you didn't see anyone touch it to make it move. There's a crunch behind you, someone stepping on glass, and the sound of a tentacle slithering through the window. What do you do? And everyone's got to be like, holy shit, there's a tentacle slithering through the window, pull him, I gotta shoot him! And not like, okay, I turn around and I shoot it with my shotgun, and now it's dead, because my shotgun is a holy shotgun of shotgunning. Like, there's a very different subset of D&D players and Call of Cthulhu / Lovecraft players. You really have to buy into the situation in order for a horror game to work, both for other players and for the audience.
Very
Maybe
true.
we should just have a group call with Kelsa and have acting lessons with her.
Acting lessons with Kelsa.
I
Nice
just,
little flowery rainbow banner. She would love that for about 5 seconds and make you change it.
I'm going to send Kelsa that message now. Acting lessons with Kelsa is a new show.
Oh, that would be so amazing.
All right. Any other questions? I think I'm gonna officially wrap this up here then, unless anyone has
Magnificent.
something last second. Nope, too late. We're done.
Boom.
I've been enjoying.
Isn't this
Shadow
where you
4.
say instantrapairhorn.com?
InstantRapAirHorn.com.